Good afternoon everyone, AsaQr is here with you, and today in Mobile Hero Wars we're going to take a look at episode 11 of Talismans. Watch this video to the end to enter the prize drawing and get resources for level talismans. Subscribe to my channel, here you will find a lot of unique information that you did not know about yet. The temporary talisman event took place from June 20th through June 22nd. Tier list of all the characters is almost complete, and my break from the activity is over. This event was a resource called a talisman, which becomes available when a hero reaches level 120. There were 6 talismans available in this event for Aiden, Isaac, Orion, Chabba, Heidi and Dante. And while Aiden, Isaac and Orion get their first talismans, Chabba, Heidi and Dante get their second talismans. For part of the players it was a surprise because some thought that the release of talismans will end exactly at the moment when the developers will cover all the heroes with this resource for leveling. But as fate would have it, our game introduces second talismans for all heroes, effectively starting a second cycle on the ride. It is worth noting here that a hero can only wear 1 talisman. If the hero already has 2 talismans, you can choose the more appropriate one for the situation. So the good news is that if you level both talismans, only one of them will increase the characteristics which is put on the hero at the moment. Therefore, who for some reason cannot get both talismans to his hero will not suffer because of the lack of indicators in the characteristics of this hero who has 1 talisman. Let's start the review with those heroes who just got their first talisman and then move on to the remaining 3 heroes so we can compare the usefulness of their 2 talismans against each other. Let's start with Aiden. The new magic attack talisman is the perfect addition for such a fine healer. After all, 2 of his 4 abilities are directly related to his magic attack score. With his new talisman, Aiden will be even more effective at healing allied heroes, especially Chaos heroes, and himself. I, like many, am excited to see the most versatile healer in the game become even more effective. Isaac became the owner of a physical attack talisman. This is impeccable news for the owners of this hero and engineers in general. 3 of his 4 abilities are based on physical attack, and despite his role as a support hero, Isaac can do a lot of damage with basic attacks, especially when he's under Nebula's orb or with Sebastian on the team. So the new physical attack talisman improves not only the damage of the hero himself, but also the potential damage and shield and healing for the engineers on his team, which is really useful. Unusual armor talisman gets Orion. With it, this hero has an armor value of 36,000, which is approximately at the level of the first line tanks. It's frankly unclear what this is for, but with it, Orion is less afraid of attacks from physical damage dealers. But still, I consider this talisman optional to level. Chabba gets a second talisman. It is aimed at protection against magic and armor. Actually, these are the 2 most useful characteristics for a tank, but is this talisman better than the old one for health and strength? The question is debatable. With strength and health talisman, Chabba gets less incoming crit from physic heroes, but more magic damage. Although in general this dragon is not as vulnerable to magic damage, and his magic defense score is acceptable with the first talisman as well. Also, his armor is increased due to Chabba's proportionally absent health thanks to his 3rd skill. My test showed that both talismans show approximately equal utility, so the owners of the first talisman for this hero do not necessarily need to level the second one. Heidi gets a second talisman for dodge and magic attack. Now, this talisman is objectively better for this character than the first one. With the first talisman for intelligence and armor, the first characteristic is converted into 6,000 magic attack, and with the second talisman you can knock out 16,000 magic attack, although you have to try hard to do so. And for Heidi, it's more useful than ever as she's one of the few magic damage dealers who is actually protected from enemies through armor or dodges. Dodges are even more useful because by putting a monkey with Octavia, he will get the ability to dodge not only physical damage, but magic damage as well. So I recommend leveling him a second talisman and knocking out good magic attack stats. Finally, the last talisman that was introduced with this batch is the second physical attack and dodge talisman for Dante. These are extremely interesting characteristics for this hero that deserve close attention. On the one hand, using the first talisman, we get a little less physical attack, but the ability to crit. And with the second talisman, we can't crit, but we get a little more physical attack and a high rate of dodge, which of course will affect his defensive potential, and for the attack it will be useful, constantly repelling opponents with additional spears. Comparative tests have shown that the second talisman is quite a bit better than the first. Dante becomes more resilient and works harder for the team. However, in conjunction with Sebastian, Dante's second talisman shows a completely different behavior than the first, so if you're used to using a spearman with Nebula, the second talisman is for you. If you use Dante with Sebastian, you're better off wearing the first talisman, but overall the second talisman for him is also good in his own way. From these 6 talismans, to choose the most attractive is very difficult to choose. All of them are really worthy to level except for the armor talisman for Orion. It is unclear why it is needed. With each review of the talismans, it becomes harder and harder to analyze their usefulness, but I will continue to do so while writing reviews on other aspects of this game in parallel. Meanwhile, for the 5 of you, I'll help you get more resources. Participate in the giveaway right now, the point of which is to simply leave a comment below this video with your in-game account ID. The main requirement for participation is also to subscribe to my channel and like this video, so subscribe. The more you are waiting for a large number of unique videos, the winner will be chosen randomly. The results will be announced very soon. I will reply to the winners in the comments. Thanks for watching. See you soon.